It's not every day I get to talk to an MMA fighter who I covered their high school wrestling career, quite extensively. But here we are, Francis. What's up?
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. And like I said, I appreciate you coming on. But we're kind of talking before the recording too. But it's just cool, like to catch up with somebody who, like I said earlier, like I did cover your wrestling career a little bit, and it's cool that I remember you kept talking about like your goals and stuff, and here you are, well into your professional career.
Yeah, it's good to talking to you again. It's been a little bit, but it's good to catch back up.
Yeah, for sure. What's it like for you too? Because like I said, I know, MMA has been a goal of yours for quite some time. So what's it like now to be like well into that career and actually kind of get the wheels moving, I guess.
It's pretty great. I mean, I was thinking about it. Like, I wanted to do it for a long time. Obviously, like in high school, that was my end goal. It was to never I started wrestling because of MMA and because of jiu-jitsu. So it's not like I had big aspirations of becoming an Olympic wrestler or anything like that. Like my goals were always to fight MMA and fight in UFC and all that stuff.
Yeah. Obviously, like, everybody had to deal with like COVID in some, shape or form. But like, what was that like for you too? Because, I kept thinking about this whole time. Like, yeah, obviously the UFC was out for, a very short time, but a lot of the regional guys, especially guys who were getting their career started, they had a big pause. I'm sure you weren't expecting to take a, a year off from, that first fight to the second. So what was that kind of like for you?
It kind of, yeah, it sucked, definitely, because I had to fight. I fought my first pro fight in November of 2019, and then I had my second fight scheduled for March of 2020. And I think about 10 days or 2 weeks before the fight, they shut it down, canceled it. So it was like I went through a whole training camp, got canceled. That sucked. And then I figured maybe, all right, fight again in the summertime, like whatever. Maybe we won't hang out. This won't be around that long. And then it just kept going. So
Yeah.
to take that much, that was the longest break I think I've ever took from competing in general, from November of 2019 to March of 2021. I like being active, so it kind of definitely sucked.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you were saying too that you're like a firefighter now too. Like, what was that like? I mean, were you doing that at the time that like COVID started?
COVID started in March. We were supposed to start the academy for the fire department in May, and then that wound up getting pushed back till June, so or July, early July. So then I was in the fire academy from like July to December. We finished that, so it was kind of like another 6 month stretch where I wasn't really active training, which it wasn't the worst case scenario because there really wasn't a lot of fights going on. So it's not like I was missing out on much. So it kind of worked out
Yeah.
in the best way it could have.
Yeah. Now that you're doing kind of everything like together too, like what's that like kind of balancing, fighting and also, work as like a firefighter too?
It's a tough balance. I mean, it works out, but I mean, some days are harder than others. Like, so working 24 hours, it's not like you're getting a busy night, you're not getting like the rest you need. So come home, I got to rest and then do training later that day. So it's kind of like a fine balance. Like some days are better than others, but it's been working for me so far.
Yeah. Is the goal to eventually just train full time?
Uh, yeah, I think so. Hopefully, if everything goes like well, but I mean, the fire department's also a great job where I would have like paycheck for the rest of my life. So it's not like it's something I would really have to think about.
Yeah. Now, have you been like training like anywhere like up north too to kind of like help like the commute and things like that?
Not really. Just I've just been staying at the boxing gym I've been going to for the last 3 years is in Hoboken, so
Mhm.
that's close. But the commute's not that bad. It's only about an hour, I think, hour up to Jersey City, and then so it's not. It goes by now.
Yeah, for sure. And also too, I mean, I know, back when you were wrestling senior year too, like, with Kurt and everything like that. I'm like really familiar with Kurt as well, but like what's that like too? Because I like you were kind of saying earlier, like you've been kind of doing this since you were a kid, like jiu-jitsu, all that things. But what's it like to, I guess, be with that one guy? Because I think especially nowadays too, you don't see that as much. A lot of guys go on to other gyms and things like that. So what's it been like kind of just to, be under him for so long, looking up to him and now kind of having him in your corner?
It's pretty great. I mean, a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people bounce around. They'll switch gyms if they're not doing good here, or if they see other training, better training there, they move. But Kurt's been with me since the beginning, and I'm loyal to him. So he's not also like over protective, I guess. Where if I go to a different gym to train with some guys to get some good work in, like he'll be mad and punish me. Like
Yeah.
he reaches out to other gyms and I'll go work with them. Like a gym I go to a lot is in Philly, Martinez BJJ.
Yep.
So he's friends with Will Martinez. So I go out there usually twice a week to work with those guys too.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you like mentioned that too, and now it's kind of crazy because I mean they're definitely getting some notoriety now. I just talked to Chris Dawkins last week, but I mean Kyle's in the UFC now too, so I feel like that gym is like, yeah, as far as notoriety, they're definitely like on the rise.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been going there for almost 3 years now, and I mean they've been working since. So just to see them start rising up and get the notoriety they deserve is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. And just to go back to like the high school thing too, I know like it's kind of crazy because I think you were at Mascon for your first 3 years. You only wrestled, I think, your junior year there. You can correct me if I'm wrong too. And then you transferred to Borough. Like, was that decision? Was that like I mean I know Kurt like went to Borough too. Like, was he a big part of that?
Not so much. I mean, I need to get out of Mascon, I think, to reach better goals. No offense. I
Yeah.
mean, the program's definitely picking up now. They got a new coach in there and
Okay.
stuff. But back then, it would have been tough to win a region title there and try to place at state. So switching to Borough was definitely a thing that we talked about. But it was, I mean, I had a couple different choices to make.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like you got into wrestling like kind of late too, but like how grateful are you for those like last 2 years, especially like your time at Borough? Like how much has that helped you like in your MMA career?
Oh, extremely. It's one, it's helped me with wrestling, and then two, it's helped me just like with work ethic. So
Yeah.
more like training harder, training better, like just with weight management as well, like with diet and everything. Because wrestling, you're maintaining weight for 3 months instead of just like a fight camp for 8 weeks where you have to make weight once. So it definitely helped a lot, not just with the wrestling, but also like with the grind of fighting and training.
Yeah. Nah, I'm pretty sure you correct me wrong again, but I think your next fight is at 145. And now this will be your debut at that weight, right?
Yeah. So my last fight was supposed to be at 145, and then it got changed to 150. I think about like 6 weeks out. So this one is the official 145 debut.
Yeah. And your opponent still showed up like 9 pounds over, right?
Yeah, he showed up at 159.
Was
Yeah.
he the one that asked for the 150 change?
I don't think so. I think the original
Okay.
guy that was supposed to fight was pulled out or didn't take the fight or whatever. So then when they got this guy, they said 150. But I think he used to be a 145er, and then just I guess didn't make the weight. I don't know what went wrong with there.
Yeah. Well, was 145 like was that always in the plans or is that something that kind of came up like more recently?
That's always been, I think, in the plan, like fighting amateur at 154, 155, whatever it was, because they had same day weigh-ins in New Jersey. But I'm just too small to be a 55er, so 145 I think suits me a lot better.
Yeah. How come you didn't jump into like 145 right away, like when you turned pro?
I don't know. I think we wanted to build into it.
Yeah,
Just try to feel comfortable in the beginning and then gradually work the way down. So
for sure.
just whatever Kurt's call is usually.
Yeah, I know you said like 150. That wasn't the plan last time, but like, is that kind of like a blessing in disguise now? Like, you didn't have to cut all, that extra 5 pounds. It was kind of a nice little like, like little steps.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, originally that's what I wanted to do. I would rather have did 150 and then 145, but Kurt was like, "Oh, we're just gonna go to 145. I don't really care." So I was like, "All right."
Yeah,
But it was kind of nice just having the halfway point.
yeah. It obviously like was a good result too, but like, how'd you like feel like physically like at 150?
I felt normal. I felt great. I mean, I put some weight back on before the fight. I felt like I was moving good. I felt strong still, so I don't think it's really gonna affect me too bad.
Yeah, and now you're fighting again for Gulf Coast. I think what the last two fights have been with them, and you get Rey Trujillo too, which like I definitely kind of like got like my attention too because I mean he's a guy I think he's got like 54 pro fights. You only have three too. Like, were you surprised that his name kind of came up like in this process, or was that a guy you were like eyeing for?
I don't really eye for anyone. So like the I think they had a couple guys they reached out to, and then he's one of the guys that said yes. So I mean, whether you have 50 plus fights or you have 5 fights, a fight's a fight. So I'll take it. It doesn't. I'm not too concerned with it. He has a lot of experience. He's obviously going to be probably my toughest opponent to date, but I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a win over him too. That could do a lot for somebody, in your like standpoint too of like 4-0. I mean, that's like a nice little name to have on there because I know he's fought a lot of UFC talent and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he definitely has a lot of experience. It definitely looks good on the record because of his experience. So, I mean, it's not like I'm fighting someone who's like 0-3 or 1-2. So it's gonna be a
Yeah.
good fight.
How do you feel like you stack up with him?
I think it's gonna be good. I mean, from what I've seen, he's a stand-up fighter. I think he's a high belt in jiu-jitsu too. I'm not sure, but I think he is. So I'm sure he's pretty decent on the ground as well. So I'm excited to see what it is.
Yeah. Have you done anything different this camp as far as like maybe like go to like a different gym, like, work with different guys? Did you bring anybody in specifically?
No, not too much. I mean, I pretty much stick with my game plan. I'm more concerned with elevating my game than trying to work around someone else's game. So I'm just gonna fight my fight, and then what happens happens. I'm not gonna overwhelm myself with worrying about what he's gonna do and bring someone in for how he fights. So.
Yeah. With that said, like, is there one area you feel like you have like a distinct like advantage over him, or everywhere maybe?
Um, I mean, my grappling I feel like is really good. So we'll see if we go to the ground. I mean, I feel like my boxing has been getting better and better, and then my wrestling has been pretty good as well. So I feel pretty well rounded, pretty good everywhere. But I don't know what he's gonna bring.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think you have all rear naked choke victories. So, I mean, you're
Yeah.
building a reputation.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't even game plan for that. I just try. I've been trying to stand up more, and then these guys try to shoot in on me and take me down. So when it goes to the ground, it goes to the ground. Just do what I have to do.
Yeah. Do you visualize, like, when you think about this fight, do you see it going like a certain way, like a certain finish or anything like that?
Um, Not a certain way in exact. I mean, I see it staying on the feet for a long time. More of like a stand-up fight I'm hoping for. But I mean, if we wrestle, we'll wrestle, and then if we go to the ground, I'm ready for that even more than anything else.
Yeah. Do you see that like as kind of an opportunity to display, like, because I'm sure when a lot of people look at your record, they're probably not, they're not thinking a striker, they're thinking a ground guy with, all rear naked choke win. So like, is that kind of something you're looking forward to? Maybe get to show that stand up a
Yeah,
little more.
absolutely. Because I feel like a lot of people just think I'm a wrestler. I only have some jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and grappling. But I feel like my hands have just been getting better the more I've been going on, and my stand-up game has been getting better too.
Yeah. How did like Gulf Coast too? Like, how did that come up? Like, how did you get involved in like that promotion rather than maybe like the Ring of Combats, like CFFCs, like the New Jersey promotions?
So I think, well, around here, I think they just had their first fight in New Jersey again, maybe
Yeah.
last week with Ring of Combat since before COVID. So
Yeah.
a lot of it was like had to do with COVID and the whole. You would have to. I think they were making people even when they were fighting in quarantine in Philly, making people quarantine before the fight and stuff. So we weren't going to deal with all that. And then plus, I mean, I fought down there for Tim Crater's promotion, the Bayou Fighting
Hmm.
Championships, and
Yeah.
I think Kurt talked to Tim, and Tim knew this guy who's the promoter here, so he got us hooked up with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know too much about them. Like, I was looking a little more now because I knew I was interviewing you. But like, what has your experience like been like with them so far?
It's been really good. I mean, they put on a real great show down there. I mean, they got like, I think last fight they might have had like 1,500 people there, full sold out. Like the last two
Okay,
shows I've
wow.
done, they've both been sold out. And I think they said this one is almost sold out already. So they're putting on good shows down there. I think they're going to be one of the top regional promotions down in the Southeast.
Yeah. So when you were fighting there, like in March and stuff, like you didn't have to go through all that, like COVID like protocol and stuff like that.
No, because when we got down there, I think Mississippi just lifted the mask mandate in March. So when we got down there, it was like basically wide open, no COVID tests, no mask mandate. So it was pretty nice just to get back to some normalcy before.
Yeah. Had you ever been to like Mississippi like before like you start fighting there?
No, it was my first time going.
So that's pretty cool too, because like I feel like when you talk to like a lot of regional guys, they're fighting like locally. Like if you're in New Jersey, you're usually gonna fight like Pennsylvania. I mean, I guess now New York too, but like New Jersey. But for you too, like has it been kind of cool? Like you said, you got to fight in like Louisiana and Mississippi. Is it kind of cool to like get to travel a little bit for like fights and things like that?
Yeah, it's definitely super cool to like go around and travel the country a little bit, and then it also helps with like the feeling of traveling and fighting. So like later in my
Yeah.
career, fighting in UFC, you're not just gonna fight in New Jersey and Pennsylvania all the time. You're gonna be moving around, so it kind of gets me like a good feel for like just traveling, the weight cut, everything, just for the fights.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely cool. Francis, anything before I let you go? Anything that you want to add? The floor is yours.
Not much. I mean, I don't have too much to say.